Love at first sight. Everybody would love to find love at first sight. But is it real? Does it last? I think you can chase love at first sight, that instant spark, right? That instant connection where you just know when you meet somebody. I think that can keep you single for a really long time. Welcome to my Broken to Brave podcast. I'm the love coach, Donna Barnes. Love at first sight is such a romantic notion. And if you're a fan of rom-coms, right? Romantic comedies, it's always kind of like it's either love at first sight and then they can't find each other until they reunite at the end, or really more often it's that they don't like each other. And the more they get to know each other, they end up really falling head over heels in love. And I think that's really more the norm in life. I mean, look, let's face it. Love at first sight does exist. It really does. I can tell you, a girlfriend of mine who I actually just saw last weekend, who sat next to me in every class, alphabetically, our names were right next to each other. And she came into homeroom when we were in 10th grade and said to me, I just met my husband. And she was absolutely right. And they're still married to this day, right? So yeah, love at first sight can work, but it is so the exception, not the norm. You know, most relationships only last 3 to 6 months, largely because it's based on that love at first sight. There's a big difference between crazy chemistry and real attraction to somebody and genuinely loving them. And yes, they can sometimes overlap. And for me, honestly, those have been the great loves of my life. When I really connected with somebody with like that kind of like, I can't get enough of you feeling from the get-go, like, I mean, right away, all of those relationships have really been loving relationships. But having said that, there's been other relationships where they didn't start with that. And those were really the better relationships. Really the relationships that have lasted the longest were people that I was intrigued by, that I was attracted to, but I wasn't crazy falling head over heels in love with. I just was like, very interested, right? They had my attention. And I think really that's the better thing because, you know, infatuation is just fun, right? The very beginning of that love at first sight is infatuated with somebody. You meet somebody, you're really hot for them, you've got this great connection, especially if you have a lot of commonality and you've got a real attraction for each other. I mean, that's really exciting. And that's kind of where I think the love at first sight idea comes from, because you're checking all each other's boxes and you're really attracted to each other. Because what usually happens is, I mean, I can tell you this as a matchmaker. I've put two people together who are perfect for each other on paper, but then they're just not attracted to each other. Once they meet each other, they're not the same kind of people, because there's a whole personality thing that goes into too. Like, you know, I've definitely said people who've been perfect for me on paper. I've dated some people that have been perfect for me on paper, but it just really wasn't that into them. Scientists are still trying to figure out why we love who we love, right? They think it has to do with pheromones, right? The scents but you know, people meet through video and can have great relationships. And I've certainly had that happen. And then when I met them in person, they were that much better, right? So that's not a pheromone thing because you can't smell through the computer. So it is a mystery of why you're attracted to who you're attracted to. But genuine love is really when it gets down to you really know each other and you genuinely care about their happiness. You care about them, and it's about really kind of putting their needs before yours, genuinely being involved in all aspects of their life. That's genuine love. That crazy, I can't get enough of you, that just sexual chemistry, really, I think is why most relationships only last 3 to 6 months, right? Because you meet somebody, you're hot for them, you're all chemically attracted to them, which lends to end up jumping in bed before spending so much time together, which is a whole heck of a lot of fun if you've had that kind of relationship. But what do you do when you're now out of bed? Sometimes it's just not as good, which is why that crashes and burns. So love at first sight, if you find it, congrats, it's amazing and you should enjoy it. But I don't think you should be chasing it if that's what you think you need to have to make a relationship work. I really believe that if you meet somebody that you find attractive and that you find interesting and enjoy talking to them, that is the real beginning of love. Getting to know somebody and finding out more about them is how you really get into love instead of just infatuation. right? Love at first sight is such a romantic idea. And I think everybody wants to have that rom-com romance of being swept off their feet and living happily ever after. But really, it is the exception, not the norm. If you're holding out for that, you might end up single for the rest of your life, right? I mean, like, I'm guilty of that too. I've been single for a long time at the moment, but I did connect with somebody that I am really hopeful about, right? It's going exceptionally well. So, and yeah, like, honestly, like, we did have an attraction with each other at first, but we also spent hours and hours and hours and hours talking to each other, getting to know each other. And that's the element that makes it love, right? That you really get to know each other, that you can talk to each other about anything, really, right? You want that partner that is your safe place to land. Yeah, love at first sight, I think, can exist, but it's the exception, not the norm. And you can have an absolutely deep, fulfilling, loving relationship with someone that didn't sweep you off your feet, but that you got to know on a really deep level and then just couldn't stop being drawn to them. That's real love. It doesn't have to be at first sight. It just needs to be true love, right? Do you really need love at first sight if you have true love? I think true love is what we're all really looking for. Like my video if you do, and leave me your comments. And I am here for coaching. If you have something that you want to talk to about, I'm a really good listener and good at catching insights and what might be good for you and how you could improve your relationships or find a relationship. If you have something you want me to make an episode about, I'm all ears. Leave me your comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next episode.